Hi everyone. I've got an interesting guest, a bit closer to home. It's my son Arjun, who is now preparing to actually fly to Tunisia, of all places, to start playing tennis again after the challenges of COVID last year. And now he's preparing to play some futures events over in Africa to move his way into the ATP Tour. And I suppose this discussion is more about how COVID impacted on him last year and the journey, and perhaps why, in one way, COVID was a blessing in disguise, because you were in Spain when it all
Mm.
hit,
Yeah.
and there were specific things that you were going through in your in tennis, and which I suppose in one way we were privy to know. It was like at a crossroads
Yeah.
of what was going on. So last year, I know that was it March that you were preparing to fly to Spain, and on the flight uh,
Yeah.
to Spain, the ATP tour got cancelled,
Mm.
and so you had to go to Spain, come back, fly back to Qatar, and it was a 65-hour journey back virtually to get back to Australia to avoid the lockdown and being stuck in either Spain or Qatar. So
Yeah.
what actually happened prior to that with your experiences in Spain when you were on, you're playing qualifying matches to get onto into the Futures Tour?
Um, I was I was I was playing a lot. Like I traveled that entire year. All 2019,
Yeah,
I left Sydney, I left Australia in February to go to Mexico, and I was in Mexico for about 2 months, and
yeah,
then I went to Germany to play club tennis
yeah,
after that.
yeah,
And I was there for about 3 to 4 months. And then after that, I traveled around Europe playing futures in a lot of places, and mainly a lot in Spain. Ended up meeting this coach who I seem to really click with, name's Juan. Um, Still have really think he's a great coach and really great guy. And I started working a bit together with them, but I was really struggling to win matches. I was just, a lot of uh probably performance anxiety, I would say,
mhm,
where I was just getting really tight. I wasn't, playing what my ability is. And it's easy to say that,
mhm,
because everyone, will, because there's no pressure in training, everyone
yeah,
can play at a better level. So where it counts is in the matches. But a lot of the pressures and stuff that I felt was a lot of self, uh it was just put on by
created.
myself.
Yeah,
Yeah. So when I was working with one, like, they got a lot of my mindset to go off the outcome, and the focusing on the outcome was really what was uh really driving the probably the type of anxiety, or if you could call it, or just
pressure.
the being tight, yeah, pressure in
Yeah,
the matches and not being able to compete properly,
yeah,
and to what my level is in general.
yeah.
And uh, that really helped. And then I came back around December, or end of around November, end of
Mm,
November or so, and then did a training block here. Ended up getting injured in. I was meant to go back in January, and I got injured, and then I left in March of it. And then, as you said, I left, and on the flight there, everything got cancelled, and Spain was going into lockdown the next day.
yeah,
So I ended up having to come back.
mm,
Spent 2 weeks in quarantine, home quarantine. I wasn't hotel quarantine at that time.
yeah,
And I hit with a good mate of mine, Max, and he was working with a coach, Nathan Healey.
yes.
And that was probably maybe May or
Mm,
June.
yes.
Um, and I really liked where Healy was coming from. I got not enough nice things to say about him. He's really helped me over the course, but he a lot of his philosophies, when I spoke to him, it really clicked with me. It was a
Mm,
lot about the presence, and a lot of getting out of your own way. A lot to do with not playing your best or not competing your best, and being able to do what you want to do is a lot of the ego coming in, and then a lot of not being present because you're anxious about the future, or you're mad, sad, or pumped up even about the past, but living in the present and what needs to be done at that particular moment, along with visualization and all of that really changed my perspective. I knew I was looking for something. I just couldn't put a finger on it. I couldn't articulate it, and Healey was able to really speak to that side, which was great. And then I played a lot of.
He was a tour player as well.
Yeah, Healey got to, I think, I want to say 160 in singles in the world, and top 30 doubles player as well. So really accomplished himself.
And I think you're telling me that he was behind Lleyton Hewitt.
Yeah, he coached Hewitt. He coached Hewitt for a while. I'm not sure exactly, but he was actually coaching Hewitt when Hewitt had that win over Feds in the final of I want to say Queens. I can't remember, but when he beat Federer, Healey was coaching him at that time.
Yes.
In all seriousness, I've tried to do it myself a long time. From about 16 or so to 22. I reckon I was trying to do it myself. I reckon that there was nothing someone else could say that I didn't already know, or that they couldn't, or that every time I told someone, like, they would just tell me something a little bit different or a little bit different perspective. I'm like, I already know it or whatever. But ever since I started working with coaches and mentors and everything, I've seen the improvement in myself to no ends. It's not even comparable. I wish I did it earlier.
Yeah, it really is. There has to be a great deal of work done on the self to improve before you are actually open to trialing new things and taking a chance and changing your game plan. Because if you don't, that just reinforces stuck thinking, frozen thinking. And then you started working with him, and then you met another guy, which he's such a top guy, Nick Landau.